right, happy Wednesday. Once again in the Digibug. I have two Digibugs. One's a 2000 Volkswagen Beetle diesel engine, and this one's a 2004. It's got a gas. This one I like driving in the winter because, you know, it warms up better. It's got better heat. I got to fix something on the diesel because the doors in it. Anyway, it's a bad design by Volkswagen at the time. They have blend doors that the material deteriorates and then it doesn't keep it warm or cool, and anyway, you got to dig the dash out and fix it. So I drive this one in the winter. I don't like driving this one as much because the fuel economy is not good. I like the diesel. That thing's been running for a while. It's got almost 300,000 miles on it. I'm gonna keep on running it. It's good in the summer. All right, enough of my rambling about Digibugs. Name them after the Digibyte blockchain. I like Digibyte. But I want to talk about Litecoin today. There are people in the conversation in some of my videos in the comments talking about, you know, Litecoin and how people give them a bunch of crap because, you know, they're into Litecoin and they like Litecoin, and they say, oh, it's a dead coin, it's crap, you know, it's no good. Well, how can you say it's just as good as Bitcoin? The price does not reflect that. It's true, it doesn't reflect that. But again, let's have that lesson about Federal Reserve notes and what they are. They're just things that can be printed out of nothing. And just because Bitcoin's at $3,000 today and Litecoin's at $136, that doesn't mean doesn't have value and it doesn't have a use case. Because if you look at the transactions of Litecoin, the numbers are off the charts. Now let me give you a little example. I'm not saying, you know, I'm not gonna get in this argument because somebody will say, well, Bitcoin's the only coin, you know, that's the only coin that can be used. There's thousands of coins. They all have use cases. And it comes down to, are you going to give your energy to it? Are you going to give your power to it? Because it's all about us. We choose what has value. And so a lot of people have chosen to use Litecoin for a payment rail or a transaction network. And what I mean by that is, I saw it in 2017 when we had the big peak, and you tried to send Bitcoin to an exchange and it took forever. Now, it takes longer to send Bitcoin than Litecoin just by the nature of the code, because every block of transactions on Bitcoin does not get confirmed and sealed up, locked up, put on the blockchain until 10 minutes pass. You know, and it's approximately 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes you have a block of transactions on the Bitcoin network. Litecoin, on the other hand, it's 2.5 minutes. You know, so you get a block of transactions, like, okay, boom, the next one comes out, the next one comes out. And a lot of times, someone taking payment or someone receiving it or an exchange receiving crypto, they're going to want, you know, so many blocks to confirm. Because once that happens, it's nearly, you know, it basically is impossible to rewrite those. You know, that's a whole nother thing, 51% of tax and all that. We won't go into that right now, but just consider it safe after a few blocks have been mined out. Some will want, you know, an hour's worth of blocks on the Bitcoin network. They might want 6 blocks. Usually it's not that, though. It's a couple of blocks, and they're like, okay, good. Litecoin, you know, a couple of blocks, okay, good. Sometimes 4 blocks, 10 minutes, and then they're good. They're like, okay, the transaction, will accept it. No chance of that getting reversed in any way. So what happens is, when people want to send large amounts of money, they're not going to be doing it on some of these networks that you know, are created out of nothing and have only been around for a year or 6 months. No, what are they going to do? And what do? They take millions of dollars and move it on the Litecoin network because the transaction fees are so cheap. You're looking at 2 cents right now, I think, and a lot of times it's under a penny. Let's just say it's 2 cents. You got $1 million, and you want to move it to an exchange or move it, you know, move that money. Say it's in Bitcoin. So what they'll do is they'll convert it from Bitcoin to Litecoin, send it via Litecoin over a network so it gets there quicker, and then maybe convert it back to Bitcoin or something else. But Litecoin is a trusted money moving system. It is, you know, it's unstoppable, and a lot of the big money knows that, and they see that. You see it in the transactions on the blockchain. You know, on Twitter, there are accounts that's all they do. They say, hey, this amount of money moved. You know, $12 million in Bitcoin, $12 million in Litecoin, just moved on the network from one wallet to another. So it's trusted as far as payments, as far as getting the money there. People trust it, and big money trust Litecoin, and it's cheaper to send than Bitcoin. So you may see more people, more big money locking up into Bitcoin, but when they want to transfer, a lot of times they'll use Litecoin. It's just cheaper. It's a lot cheaper. You know, if you're a government doing settlements, and you know you're doing 10 settlements a day. See, it's not even a good example. But if you're doing multiple settlements a day, and you're paying 2 cents for each transaction versus, I mean, man, in 2017 when the network blew up and all the blocks of Litecoin were filling up, or Bitcoin were filling up, I mean, your transaction just to send any amount of Bitcoin, say you just want to send $5, at times it was $30, $40 in transaction fees. Now that doesn't make sense, you know. So it kind of evolved into the point where it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to pay with Bitcoin, you know, and we're going to get outside the system and use it as new form of money. To people said, we're just going to lock up our money in Bitcoin because it really doesn't make sense to be spending it and using it, because if everybody's doing that, the transactions are going to cost a heck of a lot of money. So it didn't make sense. So Bitcoin has evolved into this sound storage of money, preserver of money. And it just gets locked up and doesn't get used as much as once thought, as a peer-to-peer electronic currency. And that was the big argument over Bitcoin Cash splitting from Bitcoin. And, you know, it stays true to the Satoshi white paper and this and that. I mean, I get it. But you got to look at the real life use cases of some of these things. And a real life use case, Litecoin is one of those. Very cheap transactions. Network has never gone down in over 10 years, never had an issue. The Bitcoin network actually had to be restarted at one point early on. So they can't say that they've never had an interruption. Litecoin's never had an interruption in the network. Never gone down. How many banks can say that? Not very many. You know, you see an outage, oh my gosh, you know, millions of customers on the East Coast affected because this bank has a network issue, because they're centralized. And if something goes down or somebody hacks them, that's it. In a decentralized network like Litecoin, it doesn't matter. We just had, last week was it, Kazakhstan, 12%, 18%, I've seen different numbers, of the Bitcoin mining is over there. And it shut down. Well, Bitcoin still worked. It didn't matter. You know, if it's a solid blockchain, it doesn't matter because it's decentralized. You can take down 12% of it, 20% of it, and it still works. The other 80% still running in different countries where the power's still on. And a lot of people will say, an EMP, you know, oh man, why are you getting into crypto? You know, an EMP hits, it's all over. You know, you can't use crypto, you need internet. Absolutely, you're right. If an EMP hits the United States and we lose internet, you're not going to be able to send Bitcoin, Litecoin, anything back and forth. Now, there are technologies, you know, satellite, you know, that you can, you know, use to be connected to the internet. But that doesn't mean the network's not running somewhere else. We don't have all the miners and nodes over here, so the rest of the world continues on as normal. And Bitcoin and Litecoin work. See, there's no stopping that decentralization. You know, one bank gets hit, it's gone. Can't even access your money. Can't go to the ATM. You know, can't do anything. And so you've got a new form of money, a sound form of money in Litecoin. Litecoin is also a 4-to-1 ratio. The Bitcoin, there's 4 times as many. So it's rare as Bitcoin is. It's a finite asset, one that there's only so many that are ever going to exist. But the price in Federal Reserve notes does not reflect that. So I see it as way undervalued. If you look at charts, you know, the comparison, the ratio of Bitcoin to Litecoin, it is at a point where Litecoin could break out at any moment. Any moment. Now, it could go to the middle of the year, but, you know, it could any moment. And so it's a good risk to reward coin in my eyes compared to other coins that are out there, because it hasn't seen the giant run up. And see, that's what people look at. They look at, oh my gosh, this one pumped, Solana really went up, or Polygon really went up. I'm not knocking their technologies because they're more of a technology coins. They're technology coins. I'm talking sound money and cryptocurrencies, real cryptocurrencies, you know, money that you can send on the internet securely and hold in your own possession. So it's kind of apples to oranges. Those things are all going to go up quicker, sooner. But when Litecoin goes up, when you look at the charts and just the nature of what it is, it goes up fast and very hard. I mean, it pumps. And that's just what it does. So, if you're looking at it in Federal Reserve note terms, I mean, it's a patience coin. But again, that whole time that you're patient, that you're holding it, you can use it. I had the question in the chat. Okay, I mentioned something in another video about paying with Litecoin. You can use it to send to other people. That's what cryptocurrency is. If we don't use it as money, as peer-to-peer electronic currency, then it does not fulfill the whole thing we're trying to do. I mean, we've got a broken economic system. The dollar, and it's not the dollar, it's the Federal Reserve note. Just look at it. It's not a dollar. Go look at the history of the notes that have been put out, and the bills, the paper that's been put out in this country, in the United States. Used to have U.S. silver certificates, treasury notes, treasury dollars. Now we have Federal Reserve notes. It's a bank outside of government that's issuing this currency, and we're on the hook for paying the interest back. Doesn't make sense when we can just print it out of the treasury, interest free. Yeah, still inflationary, still going to drive the cost of things up as you print more of them, but there's no debt attached to it. You don't have to pay that back. So there's no need to have taxes. That's the only reason you've got an income tax, is to pay the Federal Reserve some interest. Man, it's basically to enslave you. That's all it is. But that's the game. Now, when you move to cryptocurrencies, having all this in your mind, thinking, okay, this whole thing is corrupt, this whole thing's broken, it can't last forever. And I think we're seeing the end game here. I could go on for a long time, but we're feeling the pain now through inflation and the cost of everything that we have to purchase, and the lack of wage increases keeping up with the costs. You've got a form of money. A new form of money. Now you can sit and hold it and say, okay, it's an asset, or it's speculative, it's a commodity I want to hang on to. Yeah, I get that, but the thing is, learn how to use it. Send a little bit of Litecoin to a friend. Use it. It doesn't cost you anything to send it. If you got some Litecoin, find a buddy, say, download this wallet. And go download a Lite wallet, go download Coinomi, go download Exodus. There are several good wallets out there, and I put them on my website. You go to clintwestwood.net, and there's good stuff out there. It's a very basic website with just links, no fancy pictures or anything, but it's just content, and everything I talk about is always on that website. Otherwise, I wouldn't have it on there if I didn't believe in it. So you've got these paper wallets. That's another story. You've got these wallets that you can download. Talk a friend into it and say, hey, download this wallet, write down your seed phrase words, your seed words, and, open up the wallet and receive some Litecoin. You can send them a little bit of Litecoin. Send them just, 50 cents worth, and say, look, that didn't cost me much to send. You can afford to do that. You can't do that with Ethereum. You try and send 50 cents of Ethereum, it's going to cost you $50 sometimes or more. It doesn't make any sense. And so that's why Litecoin is a good monetary coin, a good money coin, because you can use it, you can spend it. No one can stop you from doing that. You can hold it in your own possession, and also it has a fixed supply, so it has a store of value. There's only so much to go around, and so that naturally builds in value to it. It takes work to get it. You just don't create it out of nothing. A lot of these coins are just created out of nothing. It's just poof, there it is. Where do you want to put your energy? Where do you want to put your money that you've worked for in? That's my thinking. So use the coin. It's a currency. You're never going to get rid of the old system until you start using a new system, and you start convincing people to use it. And I talked about a friend went to a business and said, hey, will you take cryptocurrency for your services? And the person said, yeah. You just got to ask. And just, it's intimidating at first, but you just say, hey, man, you into crypto? Would you take crypto? Would you take Bitcoin? That's a lot of the buzzword, Would you take crypto? Would you take Bitcoin for payment? And then that opens the door. It turns out this guy wanted Ethereum. Okay. It opens the door to it. And there's a lot of ways and that's just peer-to-peer. That's, that person has a wallet on his phone. You have a wallet on your phone. Boom, you send it. It's there. It's done. Do that and feel how empowering that is. Feel how in control of your money that you feel for the first time in your life at that point. That's why I'm into this. That's why I feel this. That's why I go to places, because that's very empowering. That's why I want to teach people. That's why I want to help people get into this stuff and use it. And I mean, all of you can do the same thing. I mean, that's the beauty of all this. I and other people, we're not some priest protecting, the Latin words in the Bible, and we're giving our sermons in Latin, and you can't speak Latin, you don't understand Latin, and you got to take our word for it. No, that's wrong. Don't be the intermediary. I don't want to be the intermediary. I want everybody to learn. I want to point you in the right direction so you can learn on your own. And that way, that's how you change everything at the grassroots level. So start using it. Talk to your friends about it. And start using it. Start sending transactions back and forth. It's cheap. And if you would use Digibyte, it's even cheaper. So money is not money unless you use it as money. It's really what it comes down to. So don't think of this as something, I'm just going to hold it and hold it and hold it and hold it forever. At some point, it's healthy to use it as money. There are different ways to do that. You can do it peer-to-peer, like, I was talking about, scan the phones back and forth, scan the wallets. There are methods if you want to spend your Litecoin and other cryptocurrencies. There's a Litecoin card. Block Card makes it. Litecoin-card.com, I think. Look that up. It might be linked on my website. If not, I need to put it on there. But you can get a Litecoin card, and you load it up with Litecoin, and it sits there as Litecoin. Now, I don't recommend leaving a lot of your cryptocurrencies on any platform. What happens is, have the card. It's a Visa debit card. You can spend it anywhere Visa is, but you can put Litecoin on it. So, hey, Litecoin's $135 today. You put one Litecoin on it, you go out and spend it, and it converts it immediately from the price, whatever Litecoin is, into dollars. So you spend $35, boom, it takes off that amount of Litecoin, through the conversion. So it's an easy way to spend Litecoin, and you can spend it anywhere. And the merchant doesn't need to have to know that you're spending crypto, because they don't know. To them, it's just like using a foreign currency, that you've loaded up on your Visa card, and you go and spend it in the U.S., and it just goes, boom, converts it to dollars, because that's what the merchant wants. So it's very easy. And there's other cards like that. Coinbase just came out with a card like that. You can spend your crypto or whatever is in your Coinbase account. You just designate which one it is, and just boom, there it is. BlockFi, I think, is another one. Now, I don't know enough about it. I just know that they do that, to where you can load up crypto and I think get a minimal reward, like % back or something on crypto when you spend it and get crypto. So there's a lot of payment mechanisms out there that are bridging the gap. Is it the pure way to do it? Satoshi Nakamoto's vision? No. But is it a means of getting there? Yes, because, we're dealing with a massive, the population of the world, you think about it, is just a massive freaking steamship, that's traveling in one direction, and now we're trying to veer it off course and take it a new path. It can't just go boom, boom, and turn. Like the game Tron. Remember that? And you go like this. It's not like that. No, you have to, that big steamship, it has to slow down and, make that turn really slowly. So as we're doing that transition, that's where we're at right now. We're not fully in the crypto ocean. I mean, we can do it as individuals. We can do it all the time. It's there for us. It's just we got to get that big steamship to catch up. We're already out in our little speedboats and jet skis. Yeah, this is fun. Yeah, we like doing this. But that big ship with all the people on it around the world, it takes time to catch up. Think of the cell phone. How long did it take people to adopt the cell phones? But once it did, it was just like, boom, now everybody's got one all of a sudden. You see an 80-year-old guy sitting at the bus stop, on his cell phone. People get it. It just takes time. And when that happens, it's just this mad rush. And everybody's using it. And all the systems will be built out, and it'll become so much easier. It's become so much easier from when I first got into it. And I see the progression, and I see how much just the tools that have been built to make this work better. Cryptocurrency will continue to do that. Be ahead of the herd. Be ahead of the herd. Learn about it now. Educate yourself now. Get find those cryptos that you resonate with, do your research on them, and just get into it and try it out. That's the main thing. Don't sit back and think, oh, it's just too difficult, I'm not sure how to do it. Make mistakes. Failure is the true test of greatness, said Herman Melville. That man who has never failed can never truly be great. I mean, and that's the truth. You've got to get out there and fail and just strip away all of your thinking, that, your pride and all that. You just got to let it go and just get into it and download it, and just don't be afraid to ask questions. We've all been there. Just ask questions. Reach out to somebody, make a comment in the chats, and somebody else, comments too, and just make this just so we all teach each other. And that's the key here, because we can change it all overnight. Absolutely overnight, because we've got the tools. We've got those weapons to fight this war, this economic war right now. And we just have to start using them and understand how to use them. You got to know how to use that sword. You got to know how to use that crossbow, that bow and arrow, that gauntlet. You need to know how to use these tools if they're going to be effective. If you just let them sit on the rack on a wall, not doing you any good. Yeah, you've got them, but can you use them when you need to? Start using them now. Practice. That's all I ask. Learn about crypto. Download a wallet. Start using it. Get a little crypto. Send it back and forth between friends. Just that. You have no idea how important that is to make this change. So let's start doing it. Get involved in it. So yeah, pay with crypto anytime you can. And the thing is, well, why are you spending your Litecoin? Why would you spend your Bitcoin? Well, spend it like you would cash and then replace it. That keeps the network healthy. It makes a use case for it. So you spend that crypto, and then you can always go and replace it right away. The credit card, you go spend your credit card, you're going to have to pay it back, right? Get in the habit of having a real asset. And that's the thing. You won't spend as much, too. When you've got the asset in your pocket, you're not going to want to spend it as much. You're going to want to replace it as soon as you do spend it, because it's a real asset and it's not some debt instrument that it's just some magic money, on a credit card that, whatever. No, once it's gone, and you're going to feel that, and you need to feel that pain. You need to realize, oh shoot, I spent one Litecoin. Why did I do that? I'm going to go buy it back. And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. But it's good and healthy to use that system, to use that new system, to get comfortable with it. All right. A lot of rambling today. Man, I keep going. 22 minutes, 23 minutes here. All right. Again, I want to thank everybody for hitting the thumbs up, subscribing to the channel. Some people, somebody reached out today and said, hey, I got unsubscribed. Subscribe again. These are the games that happen. I've noticed they're running ads on my videos now, and it's like, I'm not seeing any benefit out of that, but it's getting enough views to where, we're going to run some ads and make a little money off of it. So I don't know. Maybe there's a setting I can do to change that. I'm not sure, but I appreciate everybody for growing this channel, for listening to me and sharing it with friends. Several of you have reached out and said, hey, I shared it with my friends. If there's anything I can do to help people get into cryptocurrency and to understand it and start using it, that's what I try to do. That's what I want to do. So keep the questions coming. Really appreciate it. I love that you're reaching out. I want to see some of you in Texas in a couple of days. It's pretty awesome. Get to meet you in person. Big hug. I always give you big hugs. That's what I do. So, and probably have a few beers too if you want to. I'm okay with that. Check out some of my other videos that I made. I'd appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up. And, make some comments. And it all helps. It really does. And that's how we grow things. We do it together. We give power to it. We're not told that this is how things need to go. We give power to it. And this is just one small way that we can all give power to it. Let's grow together and, just make the world a better place. That's really what it comes down to. Let's change it for the better, leave it better than we found it. All right. I love all you brothers and sisters. Hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, and we'll talk again soon.